Islamism. Thank you so much for coming through for our Friday Holy Day of Rest Mauresh reading meeting. Islam. We rise giving all praise, worship, adoration, thanksgiving to Allah, Allah the One, Supreme, the Wise, the Beneficent. And we thank Him for His holy, divine, illustrious prophet, Noble Drew Ali, who is the reason for every season. Noble Drew Ali, to whom we bestow the highest honors that we can for his life, works, and teaching. And job well done. The fifth and last prophet, who is greater and more powerful than all major or minor prophets before him. Thank Allah for the honorable forerunner, Marcus Mosiah Garvey. Last but not least, we give honors to you for honoring Drew, just for being you. And we honor you for coming through. Happy Holy Day.
Happy Holy Day.
Jummah Mubarak.
Jummah Kareem.
Ramadan Mubarak.
Ramadan Kareem.
In accordance with the Mauresh of the last 95 years, let us begin with our Mauresh prayer. Islam. 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 Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through His holy prophet, Drew Ali. Ameen. Islam.
Salvation, Allah, Divine Constitution of Mauresh America. Act 1. The Grand Sheikh and the Chairman of Mauresh America are empowered to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the Prophet and the Grand Body of Mauresh. The Assistant Grand Sheikh is to assist the Grand Sheikh in all affairs if he lives according to law, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and it is known for the citizens of Mauresh America. Bylaws. Act 2. All meetings are to be opened and closed promptly according to Circle 7 and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest because on a Friday the first man was formed in flesh, and on a Friday the first man departed out of flesh and ascended unto his Father God Allah. For that cause, Friday is the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all citizens of Mauresh America. No citizen is to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all that may harm his brother or sister, because Allah is love. Act 4. All citizens must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all citizens must obey the laws of the government, because by being a Mauresh American, you are a part and parcel of the government, and must live the life accordingly. Act 5. No organization of Mauresh America is to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all citizens must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are a part and parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to the slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Mauresh Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites, whom inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All citizens must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and parcel of all uplifting acts of Moorish America. Moorish Americans must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of Moorish America, and then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become a part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Drali, through the guidance of his father God Allah. Amen. Prophet Noble Drali, founding father and framer of the divine constitution and bylaws of Moorish America. Me. Islam. 10-point schedule, order, organization, loyalty, faith, firmness, fortitude, dedication, expectation, courtesy, and joy. Islam. Islam. Now I declare this meeting to be open, according to the Circle 7 and the principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Islam.
Islam, we declare that anytime you miss the reading of the Constitution, divine Constitution, you miss the Holy Prophet Noble Drali's portion of the meeting. Anytime you miss the reading of the Mauresh Texian 10-point schedule, you miss El Khalif's portion of the meeting. Islam.
We rise giving all praise to Allah, highest honors to Holy Prophet Noble Drali, and honors to you, Islam. Chapter 10. Yehoshua spake on the unity of Allah and man to the Hindus. Benares is the sacred city of the Brahms, and in Benares. Chapter 10. Yehoshua spake on the unity of Allah and the man to Hindus, and man to the Hindus. Benares is the sacred city of the Brahms, and in Benares Yehoshua taught. Udraka was his host. Udraka made a feast in honor of his guests, and many high-born Hindu priests and scribes were there. And Yehoshua said to them, with much delight, I speak to you concerning life, the brotherhood of life. The universal Allah is one, yet he is more than one. All things are one. By the sweet breath of Allah, all life is bound in one. So if you touch a fiber of a living thing, you send a thrill from center to the outer bounds of life. And when you crush beneath your foot the meanest worm, you shake the throne of Allah and cause the sword of life to tremble in its sheath. The bird sings out its songs for men, and men vibrate in unison to help it sing. The ant constructs its home, and the bee its sheltering comb. The spider weaves her web, and flowers breathe to them a spirit in their sweet perfume that gives them the strength to toil. Now men and birds and beasts and creeping things are deities made flesh, and how dare you kill anything? It is cruelty that makes the world awry, when men have learned that when they harm a living thing, they harm themselves. They surely will not kill, nor cause a thing that Allah has made to suffer pain. A lawyer said, I pray to Yehoshua, tell, who is this Allah you speak about? Where are his priests, his temples, and his shrines? And Yehoshua said, the Allah I speak about is everywhere. He cannot be compassed with walls, nor hedged about with bounds of any kind. And all people worship Allah, the one but all the people see him not alike. This universal Allah is wisdom, will, and love. All men see not the triune of Allah. One sees him as Allah of might, another as Allah of thought, another as Allah of love. A man's ideal is his God, and so, as man unfolds, his God unfolds. Man's God today, tomorrow is not God. The nations of the earth see Allah from different points of view, and so he does not seem the same to everyone. Man names the part of Allah he sees, And this to him is all of Allah. And every nation sees a part of Allah, and every nation has a name for Allah. You Brahms call him Parabram. In Egypt, he is Thoth, and Zeus is his name in Greece. Jehovah is his Hebrew name, but everywhere he is the causeless cause, the rootless root from which all things have grown. When men are afraid of Allah and take him for a foe, they dress up other men in fancy garbs and call them priests. And they charge them to restrain the wrath of Allah by prayers, and when they fail to win his favor by their prayers, they buy him off with sacrifice of animals or birds. When a man sees Allah as one with him, as Father Allah, he needs no middleman, no priest to intercede. He goes straight up to him and says, "My Father God Allah," and then he lays his hands in Allah's own hand, and all is well. And this is Allah. You are each one a priest, just for yourself, and sacrifice of blood Allah does not want. Just give your life in sacrificial service to all of life, and Allah is pleased. When Yehoshua had thus, he stood aside. The people were amazed, but strove among themselves. Some said, "He is inspired by Holy Brahm," and others said, "He is insane," and others said, "He is obsessed. He speaks as devils speak." But Yehoshua tarried not. Among the guests was one, a tiller of the soil, a generous soul, a seeker after truth, who loved the words that Yehoshua spoke, and Yehoshua went with him and in his home abode.
I bear witness that nothing deserves to be worshipped except Allah, who has no partners, and I bear witness that Muhammad is his servant and messenger. After this, I seek refuge in Allah from the accursed devil. I begin in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. Islam.
The Book of Ruth from the New International Version of the Holy Bible. Are you there? 1. In the days when the judges ruled, there was a famine in the land. So a man from Bethlehem in Judah, together with his wife and 2 sons, went to live for a while in the country of Moab. The man's name was Elimelech. His wife's name was Naomi, and the names of his 2 sons were Mahlon and Chilion. They were Ephrathites from Bethlehem, Judah, and they went into Moab and lived there. Now Elimelech, Naomi's husband, died, and she was left with her 2 sons. They married Moabite woman, one named Orpah and the other Ruth. And they had lived there about 10 years. Both Mahlon and Chilion also died, and Naomi was left without her 2 sons and her husband. When Naomi heard in Moab that the Lord had come to the aid of his people by providing food for them, she and her daughters-in-law prepared to return home from there. With her 2 daughters-in-law, she left the place where she had been living and set out on the road that would take them back to the land of Judah. Then Naomi said to her 2 daughters-in-law, "Go back, each of you, to your mother's home. May the Lord show you kindness, as you have shown kindness to your dead husbands and to me. May the Lord grant that each of you will find rest in the home of another husband." Then she kissed them goodbye, and they wept aloud. and said to her, "We will go back with you to our people." But Naomi said, "Return home, my daughters. Why would you come with me? Am I going to have any more sons who will become your husbands? Return home, my daughters. I am too old to have another husband. Even if I thought there was still hope for me, even if I had a husband tonight and then gave birth to sons, would you wait until they grew up? Would you remain unmarried for them? No, my daughters, it is more bitter for me than for you, because the Lord's hand has turned against me." At this, they wept aloud again. Then Orpah kissed her mother-in-law goodbye, but Ruth clung to her. Who was Yehoshua?
He was a prophet.
He was a prophet of Allah. Where was he born?
In Bethlehem, Judah, in the house of David.
In Bethlehem of Judah in the house of David. Who were his father and mother?
Joseph and Mary.
Joseph and Mary. Will you give in brief the line, genealogy through which Yehoshua came? Some of the great fathers through which Yehoshua came were Abraham,
Boaz
by Ruth, Jesse, King David, King Dawood, Sultan Suleiman, Hezekiah, and Yusuf, while Miriam or Joseph by Mary. We hear that he comes by his great-grandmother Ruth, who was a Moabitess. We read Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, whatever that is in the Bible, about Joshua, or maybe it's the book of Joshua. When Joshua finished Moses and Aaron's work, he led the so-called children of Israel out of Egypt to the land of Canaan. And the Bible says that he drove the Moabites out of the land of Canaan. And some Moabites remained. Many of the Moabite women remained, because that's the article of war. People kill the men and keep the women. But many of the Moabites, who you hear about, the Phoenicians, the Carthaginians, the Punics, in later years they formed themselves kingdom. They are to this day Morocco, Algiers, Tunis, and Tripoli. All right? The Moabites that remain, that's where you get David, Dawood, Suleiman, Miriam, and Isa, or Yehoshua from. All right? What verse we on?
Verse 15.
Okay. Verse 15. "Look," said Naomi, "your sister-in-law is going back to her people and her gods. Go back with her." But Ruth replied, "Don't urge me to leave you or to turn back from you. Where you go, I will go, and where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God, my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. May the Lord deal with me, be it ever so severely, if even death separates you and me." When Naomi realized that Ruth was determined to go with her, she stopped urging her. Now that's family, ain't it? That's real dedication to family. When she could have went out and it's like, "No, I'm going to get me a man. Old lady, you can stay by yourself. You can go back to your people." Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. 19. "So the two women went on until they came to Bethlehem. When they arrived in Bethlehem, the whole town was stirred because of them. And the women exclaimed, 'Can this be Naomi?' 'Don't call me Naomi,' she told them. 'Call me Mara, because the Almighty has made my life very bitter. I went away full, but the Lord has brought me back empty. Why call me Naomi? The Lord has afflicted me. The Almighty has brought misfortune upon me.'" Here's a lesson. She went back to her people, and they knew who she was, and they were stirred when she come back. Everybody's like, man, it's Naomi. Look to Naomi. Look to Naomi. What'd she say?
Don't call me.
Don't call me Naomi. This is what you call me. So it's a lesson in that. You let people know what to call you. Whether it's by your national name, Moabitis, the modern national name, Mauresh, your family name, your tribal name, or your individual name. Notice, Holy Prophet Noble Joel, he didn't say, what was Ruth's nickname, did he? He said, what was the nationality of Ruth? Ruth was a Moabitess. You say Ruth was a black woman? Ruth was Afro-American? Hold on, I got something for y'all. Just one moment. That's what I wanted to know. Did he say Ruth was African-American?
No.
Say she was African?
No.
Was Ruth black?
No.
Was she a black American?
No.
Was she BIPOC or black indigenous people of color?
No.
Was she a black identity extremist?
No.
She wasn't people of color. She wasn't a minority.
No.
Was she ethnic?
No.
Was she a part of the black and brown community?
No.
Was Ruth part of the marginalized community?
Nope.
Was Ruth part of the underserved communities?
No.
Was Ruth part of underrepresented communities?
No.
Was Ruth part of the diverse communities?
Nope.
Was Ruth ADOS, American descendant of slaves?
No.
Was she FBA, Foundational Black American?
No.
Was Ruth B1, Black First?
No.
She wasn't indigenous. She wasn't urban.
Nope.
She wasn't inner city.
Nope.
She wasn't a thug, hoodlum, super predator, a deplorable.
No.
She wasn't Negro.
No.
She wasn't a nigger.
No.
She wasn't colored.
No.
She wasn't coon. She wasn't a jig. She wasn't a jigaboo. She wasn't Ethiopian. She wasn't a blackamoor. She wasn't a Guinea. She wasn't a Berber. She wasn't a barbarian. She wasn't a person or persons. People, hoi polloi, an ex-con, a parolee, an ex-slave, or a freedman. She wasn't a darky, a ebony, or what they call the black one, the Schwartz, what they call in Germany, or back in that they meant by the devil. What was the nationality of Ruth?
Ruth was a Moabitess.
So we got Goldman Sachs with 10 million, what was it? 10 million black women. They giving $10,000, 10 million black women. They cover 1 million black women, 10 million black women. You got over here, they talking about Black Girls Rock. You got over here, they talking about help women, help black women.
Black Girl Magic.
Black Girl Magic. What was the nationality of Ruth?
Ruth was a Moabitess.
What did Naomi say? She said, don't call me Naomi. She could call me Mara because Allah has dealt bitterly with me. He took away my husband and took away my sons. So you know what to let people know, what they should call you, and you know what to answer to. So if anybody loves you so much, it'll say Moabitis. You hear me? All right, let's keep on reading. Where we at?
22.
You said which one?
22.
I can't hear you.
22.
22.
Wait, no, we were at 21.
Okay. Okay, I see. I went full, chapter 1, verse 21. I went away full, but the Lord has brought me back empty. Why call me Naomi? The Lord has afflicted me. The Almighty has brought misfortune upon me. 22. So Naomi returned from Moab, Mo meaning mother, Ab meaning father, accompanied by Ruth the Moabite, her daughter-in-law, arriving in Bethlehem as the barley harvest was beginning. Check something real quick. What does the King James Version call her?
Ruth the Moabitess.
Ruth the Moabitess. So even King James in his boy butt loving self and his daughters that killed each other, one was Catholic, one was Protestant. The one who wrote the main Bible that Christians use in America today, and the only Bible they used during slavery, James 1 and 6 of England, Scotland, Ireland, 1611. That was 26 years after the Mauresh Sultan went to the Queen Elizabeth and said, hey, bring down some of them Caucasians and make slaves over here. We'll give you some of these Asiatics. What did King James say about Ruth?
She was a
A Moabitess. Now, this New International Version said that Ruth the Moabite. It's called her Moabitess. It's on
Islam.
chapter 2. Now, Naomi had a relative on her husband's side, a man from the clan of Elimelech, whose name was Boaz. And Ruth the Moabitess, that's right, it says Moabitess here in King James Version. And Ruth the Moabitess said to Naomi, let me go to the fields and pick up the leftover grain behind anyone in whose eyes I find favor. Naomi said to her, go ahead, my daughter. So she went out, entered a field, and began to glean behind the harvesters. As it turned out, she was working in a field belonging to Boaz, who was from the clan of Elimelech. Just then, Boaz arrived from Bethlehem and greeted the harvesters. The Lord be with you. The Lord bless you, they answered. Boaz asked the overseer of his harvesters, who does that young woman belong to? The overseer replied, she is the Moabitess who came back from Moab with Naomi. Verse 7, she said, please, let me glean and gather among the sheaves behind the harvesters. She came into the field and has remained here from morning till now, except for a short rest in the shelter. So Boaz said to Ruth, my daughter, listen to me. Don't go and glean in another field, and don't go away from here. Stay here with the women who work for me. Watch the field where the men are harvesting, and follow along after the women. I have told the men not to lay a hand on you, and whenever you are thirsty, go and get a drink from the water jars the men have filled. At this, she bowed down with her face to the ground. Anybody know who also does that?
Muslims.
The Muslims, they prostrate. That's sujood. Isa prayed like that. Prophet Muhammad said, if I would command anyone to prostrate to anyone that's not Allah, I would command the wife to prostrate to her husband. Islam?
Yes, Islam.
Verse 10, at this, she bowed down with her face to the ground. She asked him, why have I found such favor in your eyes that you notice me, a foreigner? Boaz replied, I've been told all about what you have done for your mother-in-law since the death of your husband, how you left your father and mother and your homeland and came to live with a people you did not know before. One thing that I'm going to notice, that I notice here, is if she's a foreigner, they speak in the same language. So she can't be too foreign. The only way Moses, Aaron, and Joshua was able to lead the children of Israel to the land of Canaan, they had to say, well, wait a minute. If Allah has given us the land of Canaan, guess what we must be? We must be Canaanites. We're not Hebrews or Jews. We are after the order of Israel, which is ain't nothing but the degree that Judah brought of Islam. Islam?
Islam.
May the Lord repay you for what you've done. Verse 12, may you be richly rewarded by the Lord, the God of Israel, under whose wings you have come to take refuge. Verse 13, may I continue to find favor in your eyes, my Lord, she said. You have put me at ease by speaking kindly to your servant, though I do not have the standing of one of your servants. At mealtime, Boaz said to her, come over here, have some bread and dip it in the wine vinegar. When she sat down with the harvesters, he offered her some roasted grain. She ate all she wanted and had some left over. As she got up to glean, Boaz gave orders to his men, let her gather among the sheaves and don't reprimand her. Even pull out some stalks for her from the bundles and leave them for her to pick up, and don't rebuke her. So Ruth gleaned in the field until evening. So he'd given her not just what was left over, he told her, whatever you got, pull out some and let her pick that up. So Ruth gleaned in the field until the evening. Then she threshed the barley she had gathered, and it amounted to about an ephah. She carried it back to town, and her mother-in-law saw how much she had gathered. Ruth also brought out and gave her what she had left over after she had eaten enough. Her mother-in-law asked her, where did you glean today? Where did you work? Blessed be the man who took notice of you. So if you notice, Ruth didn't go shaking her behind in front of somebody, in front of him. She just smartly put herself across his way and worked at what he owned. So whatever Boaz's ministry was, Ruth found a place in his ministry and started working. You understand?
Yeah.
Then Ruth told her mother-in-law about the one at whose place she had been working. The name of the man I work with today is Boaz, she said. The Lord bless him. Barakallah, Naomi said to her daughter-in-law. He has not stopped showing his kindness to the living and the dead. She added, that man is our close relative. He is one of our guardian redeemers. Then Ruth the Moabitess said, he even said to me, stay with my workers until they finish harvesting all my grain. Naomi said to Ruth, her daughter-in-law, it will be good for you, my daughter, to go with the women who work for him, because in someone else's field you might be harmed. And this harm, that means raped or kidnapped, sold in slavery, whatever. So Ruth stayed close to the women of Boaz to glean until the barley and wheat harvests were finished. And she lived with her mother-in-law. Everybody all right? Islam. One day, Ruth's mother-in-law, Naomi, said to her, my daughter, I must find a home for you where you will be well provided for. Now Boaz, with whose women you have worked, is a relative of ours. Tonight, he will be winnowing barley on the threshing floor. Wash, put on perfume, and get dressed in your best clothes. Then go down to the threshing floor. But don't let him know you are there until he has finished eating and drinking. When he lies down, note the place where he is lying, then go and uncover his feet and lie down. He will tell you what to do. I will do whatever you say, Ruth answered. So she went down to the threshing floor and did everything her mother-in-law told her to do. Let's pause right here. Opening up our Wikipedia. See what they are saying about Ruth. Y'all notice anything funny about this biblical character, Ruth?
It looks like she has,
As depicted by Wikipedia?
she has pale skin.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I said it looks like she has pale skin.
She looks like she has pale skin. Correct? So I got pale skin. Now, what was the nationality of Ruth?
Ruth was a Moabite.
Ruth was a Moabitess. I just wanted to point that out. Okay? So what verse we on?
We are on verse 9.
Verse 5.
5.
Verse 7. Verse 5. I will do whatever you say, Ruth answered. So she went down to the threshing floor and did everything her mother-in-law told her to do. When Boaz had finished eating and drinking and was in good spirits, he went over to lie down at the far end of the grain pile. Ruth approached quietly, uncovered his feet, and lay down. In the middle of the night, something startled the man. He turned, and there was a woman lying at his feet. "Who are you?" he asked. "I am your servant, Ruth," she said. "Spread the corner of your garment over me, since you are a guardian and redeemer of our family." "The Lord bless you, my daughter," he replied. "This kindness is greater than that which you showed earlier. You have not run after the younger men, whether rich or poor. And now, my daughter, don't be afraid. I will do for you all you ask. All the people of my town know that you are a woman of noble character." Chapter 3, verse 12. Although it is true that I am a guardian and redeemer of our family, there is another who is more closely related than I. Stay here for the night, and in the morning, if he wants to do his duty as your guardian and redeemer, good, let him redeem you. But if he is not willing, as surely as the Lord lives, I will do it. Lie here until morning. So she lay at his feet until morning, but got up before anyone could be recognized. And he said, "No one must know that a woman came to the threshing floor." He also said, "Bring me the shawl you are wearing and hold it out." When she did so, he poured into it 6 measures of barley and placed the bundle on her. Then he went back to town. When Ruth came to her mother-in-law, Naomi asked, "How did it go, my daughter?" Then she told her everything Boaz had done for her and added, "He gave me these 6 measures of barley, saying, 'Don't go back to your mother-in-law empty-handed.'" Then Naomi said, "Wait, my daughter, until you find out what happens, for the man will not rest until the matter is settled today." Last chapter. Meanwhile, Boaz went up to the town gate and sat down there just as the guardian redeemer he had mentioned came along. Boaz said, "Come over here, my friend, and sit down." So he went over and sat down. So this is one of their kinfolk that's closer kin to Naomi than Boaz was. And what did he call him?
My friend.
Do you know what friend means? Texan. Did he say my citizen? My fellow citizen? My fellow man? My brother in the tribe? No, he called him friend. Boaz took 10, so he went over and sat down. Boaz took 10 of the elders of the town and said, "Sit here." And they did so. Then he said to the guardian redeemer, "Naomi, who has come back from Moab, is selling a piece of land that belonged to our relative Elimelech. I thought I should bring the matter to your attention and suggest that you buy it in the presence of these seated here and in the presence of the elders of my people. If you will redeem it, do so. But if you will not, tell me so I will know. For no one has the right to do it except you, and I'm next in line. I will redeem it, he said. Then Boaz said, on the day you buy the land from Naomi, you also acquire Ruth the Moabitess, the dead man's widow, in order to maintain the name of the dead with his property. At this, the guardian redeemer said, then I cannot redeem it because I might endanger my own estate. You redeem it yourself. I cannot do it. Now in the earlier times in Israel, for the redemption and transfer of property to become final, one party took off his sandal and gave it to the other. This was the method of legalizing transactions in Israel. So the guardian redeemer said to Boaz, buy it yourself. And he removed his sandal. Then Boaz announced to the elders and all the people, today you are witnesses that I have bought from Naomi all the property of Elimelech, Chalion, and Mahlon. I have also acquired Ruth the Moabitess, Mahlon's widow, as my wife, in order to maintain the name of the dead with his property, so that his name will not disappear from among his family or from among his hometown. Today you are witnesses. Then the elders and all the people at the gate said, we are witnesses. May the Lord make the woman who is coming into your home like Rachel and Leah, who together built up the family of Israel. These are Jacob's wives, quote unquote. Yaakov, or who they call Israel. Abraham, and these were not their only wives. And speaking of Abraham, Sarah, Isaac had Rebekah, Yaakov or Jacob had Rachel and Leah. If you look at all these fathers, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Moses, Boaz, Joseph, who Esau's father. If you look at all of them, either the wives that they named or the wives that they didn't name, but they told you where they were, they all had a wife that was Moabitess or of Kemet. Nobody talk about that. Even if they were so-called pale skinned. All of them had wives who were of Moab or Kemet. Now we know they wasn't pale skinned. You understand? We know when we talk about Israel or Judah, we're talking about nothing but a degree of Islamism. Saying Israel or Judaism is just like saying Christianity or Mohammedanism or calling yourself a Garveyite or calling yourself a follower of Ali. No prophet named Islam or the portion of Islam that he perfected and completed after himself. Only men did that. Buddhism, Confucianism, nobody did that. That's why Islam or even Taoism, that's named after an idea, a message. You understand? So, Islam. May you have standing in Ephrathah and be famous in Bethlehem. Through the offspring the Lord gives you by this young woman, may your family be like that of Perez, whom Tamar bore to Judah. Yeah, they still call West Africa Tamare. So, verse 13. So Boaz took Ruth, and she became his wife. When he made love to her, the Lord enabled her to conceive, and she gave birth to a son. The women said to Naomi, Alhamdulillah, praise be to the Lord, who this day has not left you without a guardian redeemer. May he become famous throughout Israel. He will renew your life and sustain you in your old age. For your daughter-in-law who loves you and who is better to you than 7 sons has given him birth. Now to say a woman, a daughter is better than a son, much less 7 sons in this time, Ruth was pretty important. Then Naomi took the child in her arms and cared for him. The women living there said, Naomi had a son, and they named him Obed. He was the father of Jesse, the father of Dawood, or the father of David. Verse 18. This then is the family line of Perez. Perez was the father of Hezron, Hezron the father of Ram, Ram the father of Amminadab, Amminadab the father of Nahshon, Nahshon the father of Salmon, Salmon the father of Boaz, Boaz the father of Obed, Obed the father of Jesse, Jesse the father of Dawood or David. Islam. That will conclude the book of Ruth. Any comments? Any questions, concerns, any comments? You have the floor, Moabites. Islam.
I have a quick question. I rise, giving all praise to Allah, and highest honors to Prophet Noble Drop, and honors to you, coming through, and just for being you all.
Islam.
Okay, so in Islam, in the first part of this chapter, where it says Ruth, number 1, New International Version, I had a question. When it says New International Version, that must mean there was a first or original international version of this. Is that true?
There's a lot of versions of the Bible. Ain't nothing but them translating stuff. Let's say New International Version, that is just the King James Version of the Bible rewritten where today's English speakers can understand it more. Or today's American English speakers can understand more because we don't speak the King's English, so to speak. You say thee and thou and thus and stuff like that. Okay, well, the New International Version is one of hundreds upon hundreds of versions in a more modern English language. Now, there's plenty of versions before and after the King James Version that they beat people over the head with in the world. If you call that an international version, you can. That answer your question?
Yes.
And I have a quick question. I rise, giving all praise to Allah. Highest honors to Holy Prophet Noble Ali, and honors to you. Islam.
Islam.
Good question. Thank you.
In chapter 2, where it says Ruth meets Boaz in the grain field, and verse 2, she says, let me go to the fields and pick up the leftover grain behind anyone in whose eyes I find favor. What does she mean?
If you ask me, she was looking for a man. You know what I'm saying? You out there with the working men, she don't have no man, and who eyes I find favor. Whoever like me, don't mind me picking up the rest of the grain that they don't pick up, and if he see me and he like me, he might take me home. That's what I feel like. That's what that is. Let me go after those, go after who I find, who find favor in my eye. You know what I'm saying? She might go picking up grain, and some man might kidnap her. You feel me? So, if you ask me, that's what that was.
Another question.
All right.
I wanted, in the first chapter, it spoke about how Naomi or Mara's sons died and husbands died. Do you know by any chance how they died?
Sure don't. I sure wouldn't know. That's all we know of them. You can search other books of the Bible, what they call books that were left out at the time of the Nicene Council, when the quote-unquote Bible was compiled. There's plenty of books. Like the Catholics have like 10 more books than other people in their Bible.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Ethiopians have so many other books. You know what I'm saying? Then there's other books like the Gospel of Barnabas. It talks about Ahmad, who people call Muhammad. The Gospel of Barnabas prophesied of Muhammad. So you got the Gospel of Enoch. You got other books. So it might, in quote unquote, you have your Torah, the first 5 books of the Bible the Jews have. Then you have their book called the Talmud. Some of these might mention Milan and Kilian, but this is all we know about them here.
And again, in this text of the chapters, I noticed how they're saying Ruth or Naomi was a Moabite instead of Moabitess. Mm-hmm. That's just something that I noticed in here. And I also noticed how after in the text, chapter 1:20, I believe, she says, "Don't call me Naomi." She told them, "Call me Mara." But then after, when they're still referring to her, they still call her Naomi. Mm-hmm. They still refer to her as Naomi instead of Mara.
Good observation.
Yeah. And then following along with that, I was wondering if she went back to telling people to call her Naomi instead of Mara, because she felt as if the Lord or Allah was blessing her with Ruth staying with her and Ruth finding her somebody to take care of her.
Awesome observation. Mm-hmm. Just might be it. And she was like, "Man, I'm good. You can call me Naomi now. I got a grandson. I'm straight." Very good observation.
Yes. So I rise. Islam. I rise giving honors, all praises to Allah, and honors to Prophet Noble Ali, and honors to all of you for having me here. I had a question on Ruth being a Moabitess, and the sons Mahlon and Kilion. It says that they were Ephrathites from Bethlehem, and they married Moabitess women. But then when Ruth went back with Naomi, I'm just wondering, where was Ruth from as a Moabite, where when she went to Naomi, those Moabites were new for her? Because it said that she was going to a new place now where she had not known the people or anybody, but she was a Moab. Or she was a Moabitess. But so I was just wondering, where was Ruth originally from then?
She was from Moab.
She was from Moab, but I guess you just set it off where they didn't all maybe know each other, because then it also stated that she was going to a place with Naomi where she didn't know the people.
She wasn't going to Moab.
Oh. Okay, that's the part that I missed. Oh, I see. They weren't going to Moab. Okay. And then chapter 2:17, I was just wondering what this word meant. Ephah or Ephah?
It's a certain weight.
Oh, wait. About a measure of weight. Yeah, I was wondering what that equated to.
All right, let's check it out then.
It says for the footnotes, it says that is probably about 30 pounds or about 13 kilograms.
Okay, thank you.
Good research, thanks. Okay. So 30 pounds is, well, that's a lot to carry.
What is, right after that, what is a guardian redeemer?
Guardian.
It's right after that.
For one who has.
The Hebrew word for guardian redeemer is an equal term for one who has The obligation to redeem a relative in serious difficulty.
The obligation to redeem a relative in serious difficulty. In this case, she's unmarried. Now, I know today in the quote-unquote Americas, they don't consider 10 million single mothers a serious difficulty. They don't consider that. They don't consider our women, our woman, a specific being that does not exist without her, without others. A being that is meant to exist alongside her tribe. Because the same root word for woman is the same root word for community, which is ummah, which is nation. But here and now, in these days and times, it's all right. She's single, she by herself. But in these days, they call it a serious difficulty. And they made it their business to marry off single women or widows. Or at least give them a guardian. All right? Any more questions, comments, concerns? Thank you for your participation and contribution. Beautifully, Mauresh. Any more questions, comments?
I was also wondering what the name Boaz means.
Well, that's a good question. Were you about to say something?
I was just gonna say me too. I was wondering that.
Let's look it up.
Because I was thinking it sounded similar to Moab.
Mm-hmm. One moment. The Hebrew name Boaz, meaning in him is strength or swiftness. Y'all know any angels that's swift? Alrighty. Any more comments, concerns? Nope. Thank you so much, Mauresh.
Yes, of course. Islam. All praise is due to Allah. We praise Him and we beseech Him for help, and we ask for His protection, and we seek refuge in Allah from the mischiefs of our souls and from the evil of our deeds. Whomsoever Allah guides, there is none who can lead him astray, and whom Allah finds in error, there is none to guide him. O Allah, help those who help the religion of Muhammad. Peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, and count us among them. O Allah, disappoint those who try to disgrace the religion of Muhammad. Peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, and do not make us of those. Surely Allah enjoins the doing of justice and the doing of good to others, and the giving to the kindred, and He forbids indecency and evil and rebellion. He admonishes you that you may be mindful. O servant of Allah, remember Allah, He will remember you. Call on Him, He will answer your call. And verily, remembrance of Allah is greater than everything.
Amazing. Islam. Happy holiday. Pretty interesting book of Ruth.
Yes.
Well, all right.
Chapter 25, A Holy Covenant of the Asiatic Nation. Ye are the children of one father, provided for by his care, and the breast of one mother hath given you suck. Let the bonds of affection therefore unite thee with thy brothers, that peace and happiness may dwell in thy father's house. And when ye separate in the world, remember the relation that bindeth thee to love and unity, and prefer not a stranger before thy own blood. If thy brothers in adversity assist him, if thy sister is in trouble forsake her not, so shall the fortune of thy father contribute to the support of his whole race, and his care be continued to you all, in your love to each other.
Thank you for attending, contributing, opening God, and closing your happy holy day of rest. Mauresh, reading meeting. Thank you so much. Peace.
Peace.
I'm Mubarak.
Mara Kareem.
Juman Kareem.